Hello Internet Drummers! Today I'm going to show you 4 ways to add a splash cymbal to your drum set, ranging from relatively expensive to absolutely free. So you have a new splash cymbal. How are you going to add it to your drum set? Obviously you're going to need some way to mount it, unless of course you're just using the cymbal as a snare modifier. Your first option is to use an entire cymbal stand. It's a splash cymbal after all, it could go on a cymbal stand. If you go this route, you just set it up like any other cymbal. Put down a felt, put the cymbal on, put down another felt, and tighten the wing nut. Voila! This method will run you anywhere from $30 for a budget stand up to $150-ish for a heavy duty stand. This is more than likely the most expensive option you'll see today. The pros of using an entire cymbal stand. For one, it's super sturdy. A splash is lightweight, so it's unlikely that stand will ever fall over. 2, if you buy a nice stand, you can make near infinite adjustments to the cymbal's location. And 3, if you already have an extra cymbal stand just lying around, this method is free, or at least already paid for. You won't see many drummers doing this, however, because the cons vastly outweigh the pros. First, if you don't already have a stand lying around, this is the most expensive option by far. Second, if you take your drum set anywhere, like say to a gig, the extra stand is just going to be more weight in your hardware bag. Finally, the extra stand is going to add to your kit's footprint. Drums take up enough space as it is. We don't need to help them take up even more. This brings us to the second option, getting a boom arm or a cymbal clamp. This is something that attaches to another cymbal stand, effectively allowing you to put 2 or more cymbals on the same stand. Usually these run between $30 and $50, though you can spend upwards of $100 on a fancy one. Most drummers will use this method to add a splash to their drum kit. For starters, it's less money and less weight than an entire cymbal stand. It also takes up 0 floor space, and if you buy a decent one, it's basically as adjustable as using a full cymbal stand. There are a few small downsides, however. First, this does cost some money, so if that's an issue, this might not be the way to go. Second, though it takes up no floor space, it still takes up air space, so it's entirely possible to impale your guitar player with the extending boom. Now, whether that's a pro or a con is going to depend on who your guitar player is, I guess. And finally, this will make the original cymbal stand a little less stable. The more attachments you add to a cymbal stand, the more likely that stand will tip over. Obviously, I don't have any footage of that. I'm not trying to break my own stuff here. The third option is to use a hi-hat clutch to put the splash cymbal over the hi-hats. Simply attach the splash to the clutch like you would the top hi-hat, then slide the clutch over the pull rod and tighten. This method should run between $10 and $20, but if you want to spend more, I'm sure you can. The best thing about using a hi-hat clutch is it takes up 0 space. I often put my splash on the hi-hat during musical theater performances. Very often the director will want you to get a drum set, a marimba, and a set of timpani in an area that's like 3 by 3. It's almost impossible. Another benefit, the splash is very close to where your sticks naturally are, making it very easy to hit. Like all the options, this has some downsides as well. If you do any left foot hi-hat, you've now turned your splash cymbal into a moving target, and that can be tricky. You're also blocking access to the hi-hat bell, so if that's a sound you use, you might not want to do this. And lastly, you can actually damage the hi-hat rod if you go too ham on the splash, so maybe take it easy. The fourth and final option is also our free option. You can take your splash cymbal, turn it upside down, and put it on top of another cymbal. Simply remove the wing nut, place the splash on top of the felt, add another felt, and then resecure the wing nut. I know there's an extra felt in there, which might cost $1, but if that's a deal breaker for you, you can simply take an existing felt and tear it in half so that you have 2. There you go, free option. This method is great, seeing as how it's free, It takes up no additional space and adds no additional weight to your hardware bag. If you are a minimalist drummer, this is the way to go. It also looks kind of cool. But now, the downsides. It can be tricky to get the tension on the hi-hat just right. Usually we want our crashes loose and flowy, and we want our splash cymbals more choked. And this setup makes that combination difficult. Like the hi-hat clutch, this also limits your access to the cymbal bell, so if that's a sound you use, you won't be able to do this. And finally, if you're like me and you don't use top felts or wing nuts very often, this is just another very small thing to keep track of and ultimately lose or leave at a gig. Okay, that's all for today. We have 4 ways to add a splash cymbal to your drum set. Which of these methods do you use, or do you have a 5th method that I didn't even think of? Leave your answer in the comments below to help out the community. Please like and subscribe for more content just like this, and as always, thanks for watching.